Good morning, everybody. Imagine a late night collision over the Potomac River. An Army helicopter, a commercial airliner, many children on board, figure skaters, and politicians make it about themselves. And CNN tries to blame Donald Trump in a story that seems more like a freaking movie script than real life. It's all too real. Today, this morning, we're going to be diving into some of the shocking details about the DC disaster, uncovering already some of the conspiratory whispers that you're hearing online. Because with any tragedy, with any insane story like this, there's always going to be a conspiracy bent to it. Why? Why do we have to have it with every story, especially with tragedy? Or it's like immediately we're blaming politicians. Can't we just let the dust settle? I mean, this is a big thing. The political finger pointing has already begun. Eric Swalwell, who's one of the worst people on earth, decided to somehow make it about himself. So I hope you guys sit back, relax, and listen to what's going on. There was Russian figure skaters on board. Yes, Valerie from Russia, I see you in the chat, my guy. What's up, Kristen? Late last night, we were all watching the news of something, the most devastating thing I've probably seen in a long time. This isn't just something happening in a war. This isn't just something happening far across the river. This is something that could happen to each one of us. And I think that's why it kind of hits home more than anything else. You and I, we all fly airplane flights, and we all think that it's going to be okay. We all feel like it's going to be just fine. Right now, the authorities believe that there is not a single person alive at the moment. 27 bodies have been recovered, but there were 64 bodies on the plane, including one Black Hawk helicopter, which was reported around 3 military people on board as well. The direction of the plane seemed all too easy to go perfectly landing, and then it seems like the Black Hawk helicopter kind of swerved its way in. The best report I've seen right now is I've pulled up this from a pilot that said that the American Airlines flight 532 landing flight, a CR700 operated by PSA Airlines, was inbound to a runway 33 on what's called a short final. The last stage of the landing, about 400 feet in altitude, a Black Hawk training flight. So the Black Hawk helicopter was on a training flight, was flying perpendicular to the flight path of 532 along the Potomac River. The Potomac is designated helicopter flight path, a flight corridor. The PA-25 was flying on visual flight rules and instructed. This means that the flight 532 had priority over the helicopter. So obviously the American Airlines had a priority to land as the helicopter was still in air. Moments before the air crash, the DCA tower called PAT 25 asked them to confirm what they had in other aircraft in sight. And so this is like a perfect, it's like a freak accident is what it looks like. Now, everybody is wondering if it's like seems, Trump did it. yeah, exactly. Jacobed says the FAA has been pushing for DEI and aircraft controllers. A lot of us have been questioning it. I don't want to put blame to anything yet. I always recommended let the dust settle before we start putting blame to anything that's going on. My gripe is always with the media and how they respond to these sorts of events. Always with the media. And media does what the media does best, where they kind of trying to find a way to keep their viewers intact and viewers listening. If you just listen to this CNN video that immediately starts kind of making it about a political statement immediately, starts talking about Donald Trump not appointing a person in this position. Listen to this.
Mary, I have one more question for you. Look, it's January 29th. We are just 9 days out from a presidential transition, an administrative transition. The FAA administrator resigned at the end of the Biden administration, so there is no permanent confirmed FAA administrator right now. This is going to be a time when there's going to be a lot of public communication, right, and a lot of investigation of what happened here. What do you anticipate this transition period is going to mean for what happens today and tomorrow and in the coming days as we find out what happened here?
Why even say that? You know, it's like 60 people just died, 60 civilians just died taking a flight, and a lot of them were children. And you immediately start talking about how Donald Trump hasn't appointed anyone yet. If you don't hate the media, you don't hate the media enough, is what I'm trying to say. If you hate them, you need to hate them even more. And of course, they take an immediate moment. You have this guy waiting for his wife to land on this plane, and the media decides to shove a camera in his face. I mean, he's waiting. His wife is on this flight, and the media is like, "Hey, this is going to be a great shot. This is going to be awesome, man. If you could just like tell us how you're feeling, what you're thinking about." And then they ask him to show him text messages from his wife. Why? What are we doing here? What are we like? This is why I mock the media. This is why I don't take them seriously, because you have a man in deep sorrow and pain, and then you immediately just take a camera and shove it in his face. I mean, watch this.
I'm just praying that somebody's pulling her out of the river right now as we speak. That's all I can pray for. I'm just praying to God.
When was the last time you spoke with her?
She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes.
Can you show us a text message?
Jeez. She texted me that she's landing in 20 minutes. Can you show us the text message from you and your wife? Leave the guy alone, you know? Do you know what this guy's going through right now? He's probably he's probably losing his absolute mind right now. If my wife was on the plane flight and some idiot from a news organization is shoving a camera in my face and asking me to show personal messages between me and my wife, and I'm grappling with the possibility and the probability and the likelihood of that she is dead, and the media is like, "Hey, can you show us? This is gonna be sick. I'm gonna get so many views." The media, people make fun of like Gen Z or these young kids that do these things for clout, clicks for clout. They'll do like insane act, like we talked about yesterday about that nurse twerking on disabled people. We talked about last night. The media is the one that started it. You guys started it. So don't just blame this young generation for doing these sort of things. You guys are the worst perpetrators of doing stuff like this. This isn't just like a fun, silly thing. This is a dude realizing that his wife is dead, and they're like, "Hey, can you show us that text message?" God, what a freak.
She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes.
Can you show us a text message that you got from her?
He shows it.
Landing in 20 minutes. The rest of my text
What?
did not get delivered. That's when I realized something might be up.
What? What world are we doing this? And it comes to find out as well that not only did that guy's wife probably pass away, but there was also an entire U.S. national development skating team that just had a huge competition in Wichita, Kansas. And these are all kids, young kids. And here's just a clip from what happened in Wichita, Kansas before they came over. I mean, these kids are amazing. Just crazy. But, so keep that in perspective. And of course, the U.S. figure team put out a statement. U.S. figure skater released a statement saying athletes, coaches, and family members were on their way home from the National Development Camp that held in conjunction with the U.S. Figure Skating Championship in Kansas when the collision happened. But the craziest thing, of course, you have, and this is when the crazy people come out. Anytime there's a tragedy, it's like, oh, it's time to get crazy. It's time to get weird. And none other than our career politicians. You have Eric Swalwell somehow trying to make it about himself. I landed at DCA this evening at 8:42 from Iowa to DCA, minutes before the in-flight collision over the airport. My thoughts and prayers are those involved. You didn't have to add that first statement. Is this your way of saying you could have been on the flight? Is this your way? You're looking for sympathy from us? You're not going to have it, Eric. I was just on the plane. I was just almost there. You didn't have to tell us that. That's like, you keep that to yourself. And then Donald Trump puts out a statement that we could all consider what's going on. The airplane was on a perfect routine line to approach the airport. The helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It's a clear night. The lights are on the plane were blazing. They didn't turn the helicopter to go up or down or turn. Why didn't the control tower, this is what everyone's confused about, why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking it if they saw the plane? This is bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Not good. But the big part too is everyone's trying to figure out, like, there was like conspiracies going on that there was politicians or the CIA was involved, and that this helicopter was auto driven from far away, and people were pulling up old clips of Lockheed Martin actually has technology that allows a Black Hawk helicopter to be remotely driven from a different position. Listen to this.
Lockheed Martin. In every aviation. Autonomous flights.
We're working hand in hand with the Army to modernize Black Hawk, to incorporate new technology, new capabilities, to create the Black Hawk of the future. And one critical technology of all these things is autonomy. And that brings me here today.
Are we really going to fly this optimally piloted autonomous Black Hawk in Connecticut from 300 miles away right here in Washington, D.C.? And the answer is a resounding yes, we're going to.
So they have actual footage of remote piloting this Black Hawk helicopter,
Which made the internet's conspiracy theories go wild for a while. Now, what the flight was a training session, so keep that in mind of how to process this. But I think it's just like these kind of events for me is just a stark reminder for me and maybe for you that your death could come at any moment. You could go at any time. You think that your life is going in a certain direction, or you have goals, or you have expectations for your life, and at any moment you could just go like that. I mean, I've had friends. I remember my first friend dying in high school, and that was one of those moments that it just made no sense. How could a young person be taken away from this earth so quickly? And I'm sure some of these families that are connected to these children or people on board are feeling the same way. And it's just a devastating reality that every day, every minute, every hour could be your last. And so just to make sure whatever you're doing in your life, you're doing to the fullest. And this is like one of those moments for me too of like, I need to reevaluate my life and make sure I'm enjoying life, make sure I'm making a difference in people's lives, make sure I'm like, don't withhold yourself in these moments. Try to enjoy life, even if it could be taken away from you at the last second. The plane was going to testify against Hillary Clinton. Pickle's always looking for the comedy. Yeah. It's just one of these, man, it's just so sad. God, it's so sad. It's like I woke up this morning like trying to do what I normally do with this news show and just make jokes and have a fun time. But like, how do you do that when you start to see pictures of kids' faces that were on board and you're thinking, or you see this insane video of this guy talking about how he's like waiting for his wife to land. And it's just one of those moments in your life where you're like, oh, like anytime you could go, anytime. I mean, they were landing. They were on their way down. They already went through the flight. They already went through the turbulence. They already had the crappy peanuts. They already had the boring flight back to DC. And that's when it all happened. And it was such a freak accident. So enjoy your day today. Find a way to make a difference in someone's life. Have a good day today before I go to work. And remember, any minute, this could be your last. So really cherish your time with whatever you're doing. Even if you're doing a monotonous task or having a horrible day at work, reframe it and think, like, at least I'm alive today. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later tonight. We'll have a fun show tonight. Don't worry. We'll have a fun show tonight. Unless some other devastating, horrific thing happens like this. But keep these people in your prayers, particularly the figure skater families and this dude that was like used as a pawn by the media for clicks. Treat the media the same way you treat a Gen Zer who was twerking on a nurse twerking on a disabled person. Treat them the same way because they're exactly the same. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys later tonight. Appreciate